Hello, it's Nikki, and today I want to give you an example of two sales that I made on the internet a few years ago. And I remember these two sales really specifically because they came in like side by side, because I saw the first one and then I saw the second one. I was just like, what happened? I didn't know either of these two people. I'd never had an interaction or a conversation with either of these people. I was also really tired. It was really hot. I had a baby who, how old was he? Maybe 18 months. And we just had a day. You know those days if you've got a toddler and they don't know what they want all day. And I remember specifically, I was making spaghetti bolognese. And then I just kind of put him in his high chair next to where I was cooking, safely, of course. And he was just playing with like spaghetti. And yeah, it was all very wholesome. And I looked down at my phone and my Stripe account pinged up. And then I checked my emails and then I noticed that I'd had a notification and I'd made a sale. And then my Stripe account went again. And what happened in this moment was that I sold two things that in a matter of moments, it would have taken me the equivalent of working a fortnight in previous jobs. A fortnight with like 50 hours a week. And it absolutely blew my mind. And I'm sharing this because it was such a line in the sand of what's possible. Now, as part of that sale, it wasn't completely passive. There were some one-to-one options within that. I was selling a course at the time, so these two people had chosen the one-to-one option. So they had access to the course, and also they wanted to upgrade and have some time with me as well. But I'm sharing this because I have recently launched a brand new program called Your Digital Disco, and it's a concept I am so passionate about because there is such an opportunity for you to create a digital disco that never sleeps, that is always out there entertaining the crowd when you are at home in bed or doing whatever you're doing, making spag bowl with a gnarly toddler on a hot day. I have gone back over this process and I want to share with you 5 things why this worked and why these sales at that level were possible without me actually being on the phone, doing sales calls, things like that. Number 1, I had been showing up for ages and I had been building relationships with people. At that time, I was very visible online because it was the only way really I could promote my business. I didn't have any childcare. I was at home a lot, just my son and I. And I'd been to a couple of networking things and taken him and, you go for 5 minutes and then your baby might be like, yeah, I don't really like it here, so let's go home. So online was amazing for me, and I knew that I could create content, I could show up, I could share behind the scenes, I could tell stories, and I'd been doing that for a while. And I think what can happen sometimes is people launch a service completely cold, they haven't been showing up a lot, and then nobody buys it and they're not quite sure why that is the case. So that is your first invitation today, to get moving and shaking and start showing up. Even if you need to go back and rework some old content, you have to put yourself out there first. The second thing, it was so clear about what it was and what it wasn't. I see so much confusing messaging, and this goes in terms of content, it goes in terms of your website, your visibility plan. I sometimes watch something and I'm still not quite sure what it is because it's confusing or layered or takes you on a twisty turny journey. And actually, when we are scrolling from our phones, my daughter had put all these on the back. When we're scrolling from our phones, we just need to be able to make a decision. Is it a yes? Is this what I want? Or is this a no? And to really understand what it is. We don't have the time for figuring it out, or even if you leave a customer service email at the bottom for any queries or inquiries, just drop us a note. We don't have time. Most people won't do that unless they're really, really on the fence. But ultimately, we want to help people to make a decision. Number 3, it was so clear who it was perfect for and who it wasn't. And I think we have to spell this out. And I take you through all of that process in your digital disco of really understanding how you can pitch things, how you can position things so people recognize themselves in there. I also have struggled with niching over the years because I didn't want to just work with one type of person, but I did want to offer one kind of solution. So there's a whole section on that if you want to check it out. But being really clear who it's going to be perfect for, and I'm not just talking in terms of occupation here or the solution that they want. Really give a sense of what kind of energy is going to be right, what sort of flavor or connection is really going to be a fit. Number 4, storytelling. Really taking people on a journey, really guiding them through every step of the way. And sometimes we talk about storytelling in terms of content, and that's really important. Of course it is. But in terms of sales and your sales pages, there is such an opportunity for people to get to know you and really understand your unique perspective and how that can be a match. I often liken this to dating, is that sometimes, the old traditional romantic thing of like, pull out a chair, give a red rose, have a string quartet. I mean, that's sort of, I've never experienced that firsthand. But those things are like very much one way of doing it. But there are so many different ways to be romantic or memorable or to have a nice time. So I want you to think about what your unique perspective is that you're bringing to the table. And finally, are you showing through other ways that you are great at what you do? So I have shared the other speaking gigs that I've done, the podcasts, the places where I've been invited to, my career history. And it took me a long time to get really comfortable with doing that. Because I think in the back of my mind, I had this like, don't be a show off though, or don't be too much. And now I just don't think about it. I just share it because I also know that if I share that I've done something, I know that that can be inspiring to somebody going, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Great, brilliant. That's exactly what I want. And I really felt as a child, as a teenager, even in my 20s, as I was navigating this, I didn't necessarily have those connections or those mentors or somebody to give me a leg up. So if I can do that for somebody else right now, I absolutely will. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear how your digital strategy, your visibility strategy, how you're feeling about online at the moment is going. And this digital disco could be a really great fit for you. So check it out. The link is down below and I'll see you on the dance floor. All right, see ya. Bye.